This is Thank You Mama, weekly lessons from mothers all around the world. Hello and welcome to Thank You Mama. My name is Anna Tyler and I am extremely excited about my guest today. My guest is Danielle Cuccio. Hi Danielle and welcome.
Hi, Anna. How are you? So happy to be here.
So excited to have you here. Danielle is a celebrity yoga instructor in Los Angeles, and she's also a CEO of Cuccio Somatology. She'll tell us more about this. Danielle, and you are also a mom of a beautiful boy and a wife and a mom of a doggy that you adore.
Yes,
I see on your Instagram you're also a proud doggy mom.
Yes. We have 2 dogs and they are crazy and our household is just very busy.
So Danielle is a very special person in my life because I discovered Danielle's yoga classes soon after I moved to Los Angeles. And I first went to Yoga Works, I think. And the yoga classes were, for my taste, a little too serious. They were beautiful, but very serious yoga classes. Mm-hmm. And then I discovered you in Swerve, which is around the corner from me. So for every class, I would just put my flip-flops on, and now I'm imagining the LA weather and sunshine. And as I'm talking, I'm like basking in the sunshine and flip-flopping for 3 minutes over to the yoga class. And the class was always so much fun because we just had so much laughs and joy, and your playlists were always awesome. And we worked out hard, but it wasn't too serious. We also had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's so fun. I know I miss those classes so much.
But I'm so glad you're teaching every week now. You teach on Thursdays at 3:00 Western time, Pacific time.
Yeah.
And these classes are just as fun.
And
Danielle, thank you for being there when I was recovering after giving birth to Kai.
I remember
post Kai with my
all the time,
post baby belly, and then also what was very important to me during Nick's chemo. My mom was there to help me with Kai, and those classes meant a world to me. I think I was coming twice a week, and it really, really helped stay sane. And my mom took a class with you. You remember?
Yes, she did. Of course I remember. And I remember her coming, even when you would take class too, and she would be there with Kai. I remember her pretty clearly.
Yeah, that was fun times.
Aww.
And here's another beautiful thing. So at the end of the class, we are always sitting and meditating, or I don't know if it's called sitting, but you would put us in the pigeon pose for quite a while. And you were massaging our necks with some beautifully smelling oils. And this was one of the best things in the universe. After you worked out and you're meditating and your yoga teacher comes with this soft touch and these beautifully smelling things. And I remember I asked you once, what is that? It smells so nice. And you said, I'm actually starting my line. You remember? And now you are a CEO with a serious big company. Now it's your turn, Danielle. Tell us about it.
No, thank you so much. I mean, it's been quite a journey, and it's really cool to hear a story like that from a student perspective and from your perspective, because it's sometimes I think you forget how far you've come, and, it's super nice. And it all comes back to my love of teaching and my love of trying to spread self-care and relaxation. So just taking it back to when I was teaching, I got yoga certified, and I was also an esthetician. So I went to beauty school and I went to yoga school, which was a little confusing to my parents at the time. They were like, what is our daughter doing? And I'm like, don't worry, I'll figure it out. I went to both. I got certified in both. And when I was working with skincare clients, I just got really tired of giving facials. I felt like it was very superficial, and a lot of chemicals and ingredients that I didn't want to use on people, peels and all that. I wasn't that into it. And what I was realizing at the same time was when you would do yoga or people that were quote unquote yogis, they had, healthier lifestyles, and they were, really into watching what they eat and, staying hydrated and meditating. And it was more of this like beauty from the inside out. And I wanted to go more into that. And I felt like just when you're happy and you feel good, you look good. You can just tell. I mean, it's like when you come back from an amazing vacation and you're like, oh my God, you're glowing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's that. So, I really wanted to dive deeper into that. I came from a very heavy business family or entrepreneurial family. My parents started their business, I believe, when they were in their early 20s. And then they moved from New York to LA after they got married, and they started selling cosmetics on Venice Beach, like the famous Venice Beach, and like literally had $200 and a little stand, and they started selling their products. So I'll get more into that a little bit more, but basically I have been very inspired by what they've grown. They now have a global beauty business. So I've watched them have conversations every night when they would come home, or when I get home from school or we'd have dinner, like I'd hear about work a lot. And so it's really inspiring, and it made me, I think it's in my blood to be an entrepreneur. I mean, my sister's a doctor, and so she didn't have any interest in it. And I wanted to be involved in the family business, but I had no interest in nail products. And they make like nail polish and nail files and everything nails. And I just was like, that's not, I really have to be passionate about what I do. And so I kept diving into what I was interested in. That was yoga and wellness and self-care, and literally just kind of followed my gut along the way. And as I started teaching, as you said, students would start asking me, like, what are you using in class? Or how do I
wasn't the only one.
It's literally, no, you weren't the only one. But like, I mean, thank you to you for asking, because then it really made me realize, like, oh my gosh, I'm onto something. I mean, people would be like, how do I clean my yoga mat? And instead of sending them to the Whole Foods down the street, I was like, no, like I want to make these products, and I have a passion for creating really great products that I felt like weren't on the market yet. And I also had the capabilities of doing that because, I had so many connections in manufacturing and people to help me. So it was kind of just perfect. And I really, it was so hard to build the business. And, I still do a lot of things myself. It's been a crazy ride, but I am very proud, and you just have to keep going. It's an endless thing. I mean, sometimes it's light at the end of the tunnel, but it's definitely been something where I have to continue just following my heart and going with that.
And and now you have this amazing array of like yoga bath, like after yoga bath recovery milks and muscle balms. And how many products do you have now?
We have about, I think, 40 SKUs, which is crazy to think about because each one has taken so long. But yeah, we have yoga mat sprays and milk baths, all for post-workout recovery. We have Epsom salt baths that are infused with, eucalyptus and mystia, which is an ingredient we source from Greece, Aura Mist, muscle bombs, which help for post-workout recovery as well. So all really geared towards post-workout, but it's really, even if you are not sore from a workout class, it could be for anyone. I mean, we have a lot of people that just have achy muscles. I mean, I have a toddler who I'm always teasing. So yeah, you get it.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's for everyone. And we really are now kind of, especially with everyone being home more the last year, we've really focused more on self-care and just how we can create more of like the self-care sanctuary for people at home with our products.
So you have a package with yoga class and a few products. It's like a self-care package. I love that. And
Yeah.
Yeah, Danielle, for our listeners, you have a little gift for them. You created a 20% off coupon. It's called Mama 20. We'll put all of this in the episode notes. So let's invite them to go and check it out. I'll put the website in there as well.
Yes, I would love, I'd love to just share these with as many people as possible. And just, everyone has aches, pains, or just, honestly, if you can close the bathroom door for 5 minutes and have your vacation, well, that's all we want. So if I can help you with that, I'm very happy to do so.
It's funny how now as a mom, I discovered the magic of taking baths, like even more than before, but because now they're the me time, before it used to be just the bath. And now it's like, no, I'm closing this door and I'm disappearing for 30 minutes.
Exactly.
Danielle, let's talk about Mama Roby. We heard a little bit about her now, but it sounds like an amazing story. I want to hear more. Tell me from the beginning. Where did they meet? Where is she from?
Yes. So my parents are from Long Island, New York, and they are literally like something out of a movie. They have these really heavy accents, New York accents, and they went to middle school together. And they basically, I think my dad, my dad is Italian. My mom came from a very Jewish family, and a lot of times, like, my grandpa was very strict about, she had an older brother too, about like who he would date or who my mom would date. I mean, she was really young, but very strict. So, and my dad was not allowed in my mom's house, I think, for like 5 years. Wow. They dated. Yeah. So they met when they were 12, which is crazy. And then he wasn't allowed. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, so crazy. It's funny because I dated someone when I was 13 to 22. So I dated someone for really long too.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I was like kind of almost following the same footsteps, which is so funny. But yeah, so they grew up in Long Island. My dad was just like very entrepreneurial from the start. He worked ever since he was like 16 years old. He worked at a deli, and, my grandma, who just actually passed away, would tell me stories about how my mom would be waiting for my dad every day after work in his room, reading fashion magazines. And then my dad would come home like smelling like this deli, and so funny. And then he would like take out all the money that he would make, put it on the bed. My mom and my uncle, who's my dad's brother, would go get ice cream. And then that's basically a story my grandma recently told me before she passed away, which I thought was just so sweet. And it's just so funny just hearing a story of my parents, and I see them so differently now just because they've been together so long. And she's just, I think when they got married, they were really young, and then my dad wanted to move out to LA, and she did not want to leave her family. So he actually moved without her and was like, well, you better come out. And so she did eventually. And then that's when they started their business.
That's amazing. And they grew it from a stand on the beach, on Venice Beach, into a global...
Venice Beach.
Wow, that's amazing. Good for them.
Yeah.
It must be extremely difficult to work with your partner. I don't know how any marriage survives that.
Yes, I have to say, growing up with it, I am with you 100%. Growing up with that, I now will never work with Tyler. It is just something that, we spend, especially being like quarantine, whatever, like I see him enough. And I love my husband, but I think that, it's really nice to have that space and, to be able to not always have work to talk about. And at the end of the day, a lot of conversations growing up between my parents were about work. A lot of fights were about work. And so I give so much credit to people who do it. And they just, now they still go to the office every day. My dad goes to work at 5 a.m. My mom goes to work at around 12 or 1 p.m. So they are on very different schedules, which is probably for the best.
I have a friend who is a psychologist, and she works at the London Business School. I think she's teaching there, but she specialized in businesses owned by husbands and wives.
Oh my gosh, how funny. That's a whole field. Yeah.
It is a whole field. And she's a busy lady as a consultant and as a psychologist.
I believe it. I completely believe it. I mean, it's a whole beast. And I don't want to be involved with that.
Let's talk about what you've learned from Mama Roby. She had quite an experience and quite a life.
Yeah, for sure. I have to say, like, seeing them work together, and my mom, I have to say, like, she always had confidence. That's something that I have recently seen more, and just as an adult, like, just observing. I feel like I never saw my mom, like, doubt anything, like doubt her appearance or doubt, she's very into fashion and she's very into appearance, but she never or doubted like my dad's love for her. Or like she is just a very confident person. And, or like, I've never seen her like nervous about anything, and I don't know if it's something that maybe she just doesn't show her emotions so much, but it's funny now that I think about that. It's definitely something about her that, I definitely feel like I show my emotions more, and I feel like if I'm nervous about something, I'm going to like talk about it nonstop. But yeah, she just is a confident woman, and she just gets things done. Like at work, for example, she is more of the person that like you can go to. If my dad yells at you, they're going to go to Robbie. They're going to go to my mom and resolve whatever's going on. And my mom is going to be, even if she might not show her emotions, she's really good at dealing, I feel like, with people and their emotions a business way, not what by like totally like comforting someone like they or they're her kid, but she deals with situations pretty well, I think, at work. So she is that person at work where they are really like a great team in that sense, because my dad can really mess things up and then she'll be there to fix it.
Is he like the business guy and she's the more like the people's person at work? It sounds like him.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah. So she does not do any of the sales, no selling, none of that. She hates that. And then, he does all the selling, more like the hardcore business stuff. And then she's more like behind the scenes, like dealing with the people and more like the accounting and things like that.
I love confidence. As you were speaking, I was wondering if that helped you launch your company when you were very young. How old were you when you launched Cuccio Somatology?
Early 20s. Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that the confidence, like now that we are talking about this, it definitely came from both of them. For a long time, I thought it maybe definitely came from my dad, but they also always gave me room to like figure out what I wanted to do. And I remember going to a meeting once. It was for Nike and to be like a Nike ambassador. And I was so nervous. And I called my dad and he was like, you got this. Like, just be you. Like, just be you. Like, you're great. Like, that's all you have to do. You don't have to fake anything. You don't have to just be you. And I I went into the meeting like, okay, yeah.
Hello, this is me.
This is me. Like, I can't mess that up, right?
Yeah.
So, ever since that, like, I'm just like, okay, I just have to be like myself. And I think in all my big business meetings, it has always gotten me really far to just be genuine and be silly and be real. And there have been many times where I go to meetings with my dad because he was more of the salesperson. And we were this like funny little duo where I'm like rolling my eyes at him and like, I'm like, oh my God, Dad, stop, And so but people loved it. I mean, but it wasn't an act. It was so real.
Yeah. That's cute. I wish I could be a fly on the wall.
Oh, trust me, it's very entertaining. Very.
But then you mentioned another big thing, which we kind of guessed already, which is hard work.
That's a big one. I think that if anyone has a business, I think you know that it's hard work. I mean, things don't happen overnight. Things take a lot of persistence. You can definitely have days where you're just like, oh my gosh, like I just want to give up. But, you know, I am so lucky to have them as mentors and to have seen what they built. It kind of like boggles my mind when I like look at how many customers they have and what they've done and how they're continuing to grow. It's so inspiring. I try to follow their footsteps and take their lead. Even my mom and my dad, I mean, they both don't have to go to work every day still right now, but they do. That's so great. I mean, I think it also gives them so much livelihood and I do think they both really love it. I mean, I think that that's something that's really a big point is like people always say you have to love what you do or love what you do, never work a day in your life. Well, it's all work, but it works. But yeah, it definitely makes it so much better if you love what you do. And I think that they absolutely love it and they love the people at their office and everyone has been there for so long. It's become like family. And yeah, they're just super, super hard workers. And even though they don't need to be as much anymore, they love it.
But it's good. I think it keeps people young. Seriously, by watching people retire early, I seriously think working keeps people young.
I agree 100%. I think I know a lot of like elder people who still work or still involved with their businesses. And yeah, I mean, it's like, what would you do otherwise? So yeah. Yeah.
And apropos, what would you do otherwise? Let's move on to the next lesson.
I think, passion is a big one. I feel like it's, as I was saying, you have to love what you do. And as I was saying before too, like with the nail business, like that wasn't my jam. That wasn't my thing. And, you know, some people are just entrepreneurs where they're just like, I could sell this water bottle and I could sell, you know, this cup or whatever. So I'm just not that type of person. And I know that deep down, like I know that whatever I'm doing, I need to be fully immersed in it. I need to be fully loving it and really love what it does for people. I think so. That's why I love teaching is because one, I love yoga. I love what it does for me, but I love what it does for other people. I love the feeling we get after a class, you know, and it's a two-way street. When I teach and I see everyone smiling after, it's gratifying to me. So on so many levels, teaching is just totally fulfills me. I mean, it is just money aside, even like it's just obviously like, it's great that this can be like a side job for me, but it's just so fulfilling. So that's why I love it. And I think that when you can find a passion that you love, it can be something that's long-term. I mean, I've been teaching for 10 years now and I still love it. And that I think is super important. So, you know, whereas, you know, products, I love creating products, you can get a little lost in the mix of selling and marketing and Instagram and the emails and the back and forth, the pricing. And so there's a lot of parts to it that I don't enjoy as much. And I think, you know, taking it back to like parents as a role model, I think that you can learn a lot from your parents and they can teach you a lot, you know, and it's so amazing. And I feel so lucky to have them, you know, at the same time though, you have to, I think, listen to yourself. So like, I'm even reading a book right now by Jay Shetty. I think it's called Think Like a Monk. And he talks a lot about like, you know, I think his parents wanted him to be a doctor and he went a whole different route. He is like an inspirational speaker now and an author, but he followed his own path and he's happy, you know? So it's super important, I feel like, to listen to yourself, of course. Like someone can push you in a direction and you won't be happy. I mean, and I say that because, you know, my parents could have like forced me into doing the nail business and they really didn't do that. You know, they definitely are happy I'm in business. And, you know, I think I told you, like, I'm taking a real estate course and trying to just explore other things as well. But I think, you know, I'm a Gemini. And we're all always like evolving.
Your birthday is on the same day like my mom's.
I know. That's so special.
The Gemini.
That's so special. And I love that. I love that. I love that. You know, if she was anything like me, then she definitely kept you maybe on your feet a little bit.
Definitely. She kept the world on its feet.
Yep. I get her 100%.
And always something new.
We definitely always something new.
Yeah,
And that's it exactly. And only me as a person can really know what that new next thing is going to be. No one can like tell you what that's going to be. And I think that's for everyone. So I think it just takes some like self-discovery and, you know, deep diving and meditating and all that good stuff to really figure out what it is. But, you know, I'm always adding on to my life, which, you know, my husband just has to always be prepared and be along for the ride. But yeah, I think, you know, coming back to parents and passion, and they can always steer you in a direction and help you, of course. But sometimes it really comes down to yourself and not always listening to everything that maybe they're advising, or, you know, because that's the root of it is you know.
I love it. This is a big one.
Yeah.
And you send it to me, as the answer to what was she not able to teach you. And I love it that you thought of this is something your parents can't teach you. You have to find that passion with you. You have to find yourself. Your parents can't find you for yourself. You know, this is your work, and this is something that they can do for you. They can teach you this. I mean, they can teach you that you have to do it, but can't do it for you. Or can't teach you how. You just have to dig deep inside and face yourself and find it. Yeah,
and I'm going back to the passion because I think I missed a little part. I jumped ahead. Just my personality to do that. But I think that one of the biggest things that, you know, they both taught me is also relaxation in the definition of whatever that would be for them. So for my mom, she would go shopping every weekend, oftentimes take us, me and my sister, when we were little. Not really what we had planned for the weekend, but she had to do her shopping. And my dad would go to the racetrack, or, you know, my dad would get home from work and he would go take a bath. And so seeing these people who worked so hard, they absolutely took time for self-care, quote unquote, in their own definition. And growing up, I had no idea. I was just like, oh, mom likes shopping and dad likes this, you know. But now looking back at it, it's like, oh, that is such a huge part of their success. And so it's super important that you prioritize, I think, whatever that relaxation is to you. So like for me, I go on a hike every Saturday morning with my best friend, and I don't take Easton. Tyler watches Easton, and it's just like, that is my time, and I prioritize it. I don't schedule anything during that time.
That's so important, especially for new moms.
Yeah.
It's so, generally as moms, it's so easy. You know, we have spring break now, and Kai was complaining, why does he have to go to a camp, you know, because his two best friends, they have stay-at-home moms, and, you know, it's a break, and they're staying at home. And I had to explain to him that I have to work, and I feel so guilty that I promised him I'll take him out of the camp tomorrow. So tomorrow we have mom and son day. But it's hard to prioritize, you know. It's so hard as a mom to be like, no, this has to come first. Sorry, I love you, but sorry.
And, you know, there's definitely a hard part of being a stay-at-home mom. I mean, I have friends that are stay-at-home moms. There's hard parts to both, I think. And but I get you as a working mom. There's definitely this struggle and battle, and you know, you'd love to spend all your time with them, but also I think for your sanity and your well-being, it's super important you lay those lines down.
Danielle, this was so fun. Do you have?
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just love you, and I love what you're doing, and I think that this is so cool because it's like a little. Get to reminisce, and it's like therapy in a way. It's very cool.
It is. Let's recap for the listeners.
Yeah.
So from Mama Robbie, we learned confidence, to never doubt yourself, or never show that you doubt yourself. Hard work and passion in whatever, finding that passion inside of you and finding what you can do with passion. And then we also learned to relax, to carve out that time for yourself and something that's just good for you, that makes you relax and fulfills you, be it shopping or a bath. And then I love your original answer to the question, what was she not able to teach you? And saying, look, finding that's something that I'm passionate about, that's something she couldn't do for me. She couldn't teach me that. I had to do it by myself.
Yeah.
Thank you, Danielle.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. This was so fun.
Yes,
so fun.
Super fun. And we, as I mentioned earlier on, will put a link to your company in the episode notes, and we'll put a reminder for the code for 20% off. And I will see you later today for our yoga class. I'm very excited about it.
Yay! I can't wait. I can't wait to just get out of my office and just move with you guys. I'm so excited.
It's going to be fun. I wish my listeners could join us. Maybe some will.
Maybe once they hear it.
Maybe, yes,
Anyone's
maybe one day. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
If you enjoy Thank You Mama and want to help it grow, please take the 2 seconds to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps. If you'd like to get in touch, you can send me a mail at info@thankyoumama.net. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under Anna Teider. That's Tajder. This was Thank You Mama. Come back next week, subscribe, and tell your friends.